So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Now, it's my honor and my joy to offer some hope. I always love to share information. And again, like our friend Elizabeth said in the first segment, she feels empowered when she receives information about how to take care of her own body. So I'm excited to empower you with some more information. And I'm going to introduce to you my friend Annette. And we're going to talk about some cells. So, Annette, I just put this up just for kicks and giggles because an egg is a cell. So that's our pop quiz for everybody watching. Which egg is fresher? And we'll talk about that at the end if we have time. So you can type that in the chat.
Okay, well, thank you, Pammy, for inviting me to chat a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
So I am a medical personnel. I am what's called a cytotechnologist, which is essentially a cancer detective. So I play Where's Waldo all day. And it's essentially like Where's Waldo, if you've ever seen that picture children's book. I can actually open it up and point to Waldo, and people are always amazed, but I'm trained to notice what's different versus what's exactly the same. And so we're going to look a little bit at cells. And so lymphocytes are something that everybody has. If you look at the cell that's purple in the middle there.
For once.
Did somebody have a question?
I got it.
Okay. So the cell that's purple in the middle is a normal lymphocyte. And that is an infection fighting cell that's in your body. And the other little cells that are around it there are red blood cells. To just give you an idea of size, your normal looking lymphocyte is going to, the little purple part, which we call the nuclei, is going to be about the same size or a little bit bigger than a typical red blood cell. And because everybody has blood cells, we use that as kind of a size gauge for that. So can you go ahead and move it forward? We're going to just look at a couple of different types of lymphocytes. So you can kind of see they're always, when you stain them, they're always going to be kind of a purple color. And if you look at the different types of them, you can see that they usually have a little bit of a blue rim or a little cytoplasm around it. And depending on where they are in their maturation or their aging, will tell you, we can tell by how much of the little blue part is around it. And if you look underneath it, it's another type of cell. It's called a monocyte, which is another infection fighting cell, which looks very similar to most people, but looks very different to someone trained like I do. And that's just to give you a little bit of a size. And you can see in a couple of the pictures, there are red blood cells next to the slide cells to just kind of give you an idea of the size. Monocytes are going to be bigger than lymphocytes are. Okay, go ahead. So this is a reactive one. This is one that's kind of out having a little party, having a good time. And so it's a little bit different shape, but it's still okay because it's still got enough of the blue cytoplasm around the purple part. And the purple is kind of a nice even color. And so that's one of the things that we look at is to see, is it an even color or is it got little polka dots in it? Or is it a really dark color? What kind of things are we seeing? Go ahead. So I put some arrow on a couple of cells that are very atypical, and you can see that they're a little bit darker in color. They're a lot bigger. You can see the little kind of spotty cells around some of these. Those are neutrophils. And those are very small compared to the purple parts that we're seeing on some of these other cells. And so these are a type of lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma. We've all probably heard of that. It's a very common type of blood cancer that we see very frequently. Okay, go ahead and move that forward. And then you can see how even these all look. but they're very, very big. And there's not a lot of the blue cytoplasm around a lot of them. And in between some of them, you start seeing some of the spottiness that we experience. So this is a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is another type of blood cancer that we hear about quite a bit. And these can be caused from a lot of different things, but essentially, like Cami said, they're fast-growing cells that we are not supposed to have. They're normal cells that maybe have been affected by something in our diet, some sort of a poison or a toxin, maybe radiation. It could even be something that started from something as simple as breathing in exhaust fumes. Go ahead and move it forward. So March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, so I thought I'd throw in a couple of slides about colon cancer to just give you an idea. So you can see that these cells are a little different because it's from a different part of the body. So we can actually tell when we look through the microscope what part of the body the cells are from. And so sometimes we'll get an order form from a doctor's office that will say, well, this is a urine specimen, and we'll look at it and go, no, these don't look like urine cells. So we can actually tell what part of the body they are from our training. Go ahead and move it forward. So there are those same type of cells, but they're actually cancerous. And you can see these look quite a bit different as far as the first ones. They're quite a bit bigger. They're quite a bit they almost look a little happier, but you can see they've got some blotches in them. They've got some bubbles in them. Those are all really bad things. These are colon cancer cells that were found in a pap smear. So this is metastatic colon cancer. So just by having a simple pap smear, that can be something that can be able to be diagnosed different types of cancers in that. So it's very important as women that we have regular exams and pap smears, no matter what age you are, because we can find little things like this going on. So that's a little bit about what I do every day, is just take a look at things like that. But we look at stuff from all parts of the body. So it's important to have your regular exams and your lab tests with your primary care physician. Go ahead, Cami, back to you.
Thank you so much, Annette. I just, out of curiosity and knowledge, I just appreciate seeing the cells. I don't know about any of you, but I just appreciate that so much to know what it takes to recognize that. And I love that you talked about toxins and different things possibly affecting the cells. And so I'm also honored to share with you, introduce to you a friend of mine who's going to share her cancer journey. And her name is Joyce Rogenkamp. And so she has a beautiful story of healing. And Joyce, go ahead and unmute yourself, my friend.
I did. Everything good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I'll tell you, this is my passion. Is Well, the patches are my passion too, but I'll tell you, when you go through something as traumatic as when you get that phone call and just say you have cancer, it just changes your world. And we don't want to have to see, photos of what like we just saw. So I'm hoping that tonight, by telling my testimony, it's all about preventative. Let's work on. I want to give people a hope, and we want to work on making changes in our life today, so we don't end up with those phone calls. So my journey was it's not long, but when I was diagnosed with cancer, I went to the surgeon, and they couldn't say if it was breast cancer. I also had a lot of cancer through my lymph nodes. It was stage 3. They couldn't save my breast. I was only on the left side, but I did enough interviewing of women, and I decided, not out of fear, I knew an alkaline diet was gonna work, but I had both breasts removed and I had implants put in at the time of removing my breast. For a woman, it's very, very traumatic, very traumatic. It shocked me actually. But what when I left my surgeon's office, they had me set up for appointments to go interview my oncologist for chemo, to get set up for chemo appointments, and then radiation, because I had cancer through my lymph nodes as well, which is, that's the filtering system. You don't want cancer in your lymph nodes. But they took out 10 on one side because it was just, they couldn't save them. And so we've got lymph nodes throughout our whole body. But when I left that surgeon's office, she said, you are making a suicide decision by not doing chemo. But see, that's all they know. That's all these doctors know, the medical profession. We need them, but they don't know how to do any alternative means. And thank God I knew about Dr. Young. That's the picture on there. There's my sister Linda, who accompanied me down to Southern California. And that's Dr. Robert O. Young. He's a biochemist. I trust him with my life, obviously. But he puts everything under a microscope. He just doesn't read books and take other people's opinion. He knows what and he was way ahead of his time, learning about an alkaline diet. And so I went down to his ranch. That's my sister, Robert Young, and myself. And that was back in 2014. And when I left there, I knew I had a journey ahead of me, and I cleaned out my kitchen. I just started doing everything alkaline. I looked up, I bought all his books. They have nice pictures in them too. But he's got recipes, everything. So I changed out my whole diet that year. And my family members were so concerned because a lot of people, even my coworkers, didn't even know you had an alternative. You had to do chemo. There was such a thing as doing something different. But I'll tell you what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is the difference between we crave sugar so much, and carbohydrates, and our bodies do not live on carbohydrates. They live off of electrons, and electrons are what is found in green vegetables. I ate a lot of salads. I ate quinoa. You can eat fish. There's a lot of things you do. And I tested my saliva and my urine throughout the day. And if it wasn't at a 7.365, I would force alkalinity. I don't know, Cammie, if you've got some of the products that I sent you, but if you go to Dr. Robert O. Young's site, all the products are there. It's 4 salts. It's sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium bicarbonate. He has what is called 4 salts. Everybody knows what baking soda is. And it's really all of those minerals in a bicarbonate. And he mixes them all together so we can get all the minerals in because bang, minerals are electricity to our body. And so we live off of electricity. We live off of electrons. We live off of that real salt. Now there's Celtic salt, there's real salt. Dr. Young turned us on to real salt because it's full of minerals. You put a few granules in your water and bang, don't spend money on electrolyte water. You don't need to, you just put a few granules in your water and you've got electrolyte water. But that whole year, I worked on just keeping my body at a 7.365 all the time. And if it wasn't there, by testing my urine and my saliva, because one is coming from the interstitial fluid, the urine is, and the other one's coming from the blood. So you're going to get 2 different readings from your saliva and your urine. And so if either one of those was off, I would force myself by stirring up some of the 4 salts in water and force that alkalinity into me. And so I did that all year long because cancer cannot live in an alkaline body. And so Dr. Young turned me on to a microscopist. Who has ever heard of a microscopist? You have? Okay. I knew you would, Annette. But I never had, and some people still don't, but they specialize in blood. And so I had every 3 months, I did my blood. She ordered a blood test and she read it to me. A copy would come to me, a copy would go to her from the lab. And we kept watching my cancer count go down, 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 down for all through 2015. Hey, and I was a little scared too. I was bucking a system that doesn't know anything besides chemo and radiation, chemo and radiation. But let me tell you, at the time, Dr. Young said he had never in 30 years lost a cancer patient unless there was a family member that brought somebody to him on their deathbed and they were about ready to die anyways. But give him enough time, you can turn any cancer around with an alkaline diet. Which time do I have, Tammy? Okay, so I'll tell you, I just want to read a couple things to you. And so, what is cancer? What is cancer? Cancer is not a noun. It is an adjective that describes what's happening to the cell. We have a cancerous cell. It is not something we catch, but something we do through our lifestyle. Cancer is not a mutant cell. It is a fermenting cell that's broken down by acidic, toxic waste. Okay, and that's where you probably saw the banana. So it's like
I'll bring the banana.
Bring the banana up, because Dr. Young compares what goes on in our body to a banana. He said the body doesn't run on carbohydrate, it uses electrons, but the body is electrical. Sugar is an acidic waste product of cellular breakdown and transformation. Here's what he said. Isn't that what happens to the banana? As the banana moves from irritation to inflammation to induration, and then to cancer, going from green, yellow to brown. Okay, it has liver spots. Okay, so liver spots, the same way we get liver spots through excess fermentation and rotting. We do not say the banana has cancer. We say the banana is spoiling. In the same way, we shouldn't say that the lung has cancer, but rather that the lung is spoiling. It is cancerous. Again, cancer is not a noun, but an adjective expressing the process of cellular transformation. Again, sugar is the waste product. In fact, that's why a banana gets sweeter and sweeter as it ferments. Okay, so it's rotting. We rot from we have age spots. Dr. Young says the reason we have age spots is we're rotting from the inside out. Doesn't that sound awful? We're just rotting. But that's the case. I want to, so the difference between, I want to read one more thing because I know we're running out of time, that I thought was pretty profound here. And I want to talk to you just a little bit about my dog Lucy too, with the patches. But it says, your body craves salt, not sugar. Salt is the element that makes all thought possible. You can't even have an emotion without salt. It makes movement possible. It makes your heart beat. Salt is the foundation for hydration, alkalinity of the extracellular fluid. Salt is the element that provides the matrix from which the endocrine glands communicate. It goes on, but when your body is craving sugar, what it's doing, it's craving energy. It wants energy, and we're going to get energy from electrons. We're going to get energy from salt. You're going to get good salt, not table salt, but the good salt with minerals. So the salt that he's got a whole topic on what is in, I'm all scientific and biological words, but what is in, how bad salt is, table salt. And but Celtic salt, real salt, the salt with minerals, you can just eat it all day long, and it's good for you, and it brings energy to your body. So what I want to tell you, 3-4 years ago, we moved to Arizona, and on that trip, you'll see up in the right-hand corner, there was some tumors coming up, they were all blended together, coming out Lucy's vulva. awful place to have cancer. It just shocked the heck out of my sister and I. That night, I put an Eon patch, pardon me, and an X39 on both sides of it, and you can see her tail. She's got it, and there. Let's see, is that one, Cami, the one with the red one, with the red carpet? So the next morning, the one you can see that it's a real puffed up. This was still at night. By the next morning, even the vet didn't believe me that all of those tumors were shrunk down to just one little dried up cell. It looked like a wart. But from nighttime to day, it shrunk up. I took her in, and they did a aspirate. They took an aspirate of it, and it was a mast cell tumor. And so she did have, and this was 4 years ago, she had cancer. And usually I've had boxers before, and within a year, my other boxer who had that, a mast cell tumor has legs. It has, and it goes out. You can't get a big enough margin around it. And so my other boxer ended up dying within a year of cancer because they just couldn't get all the cells out of there because it has those legs underneath and it just goes out. Well, Lucy is cancer free today. And she also, when I got her at 2.5 years old, she's 10.5 now. No one can believe it because she's not getting gray. She's my experiment. No one can believe how old she is, but she had severe arthritis through her spine. She wasn't jumping up on the bed. She wasn't jumping up on the couch. And I'll tell you, after taking my patches off and wearing my old patches, I put it on the backside of her collar. And within 6 months, at the same time she was diagnosed with this cancer, I asked the vet to please take a picture. And I knew something was changing because she could jump better. And he couldn't find any arthritis through her spine. And I have a report and photos, x-rays, that her severe arthritis through her spine was 100% gone. And that was after like 4 to 6 months after I was putting my old patches on her. And so, and to this day, she's patched up. She wears my patches, and she's not been, and that's 4 years ago, she had this cancer operation. And so I'm just, I can't tell you myself. I know the protocol and the different patches we have to help people with the fast growing cells. I know we shouldn't be saying cancer, but with fast growing cells, it's keeping me in remission, just like it did Marcy, our leader. She's in remission. I know it keeps me safe, and it's keeping my dog safe. So I'm a happy camper with these cells, with the patches. So I have so much more I could talk about, because I just, there's so much about, the alkaline diet. I got, as soon as I got done with and I was cancer free, I went out and got my health coaching certificate, because I thought I was going to help the world. I was going to help everybody not have to do chemo and radiation, because it works. An alkaline diet actually works. But I can't believe how many people go, oh, I love my doctor. No, they're so indoctrinated by the medical community, and just, I got to listen to my doctor. Well, you can love your doctor all the way to your deathbed. You can love them, but if you go after you get chemo and radiation and you go to your doctor and say, what can I do not to end back up in the same predicament with cancer? They can't tell you anything. They can't tell you. They just go, well, just go live the best life you can. But I can tell you, stay alkaline. Keep eating your green salads. Drink your alkaline water. Take real salt. Eat electrons. Eat your salads. That's how you don't get cancer back again. So I like to give people a hope. And even if they do cancer, or they do chemo and radiation, I like to help them build their body back through an alkaline diet. And I'll tell you what, there's a whole chapter in here on Dr. Young talking about the benefits of glutathione. If people go through radiation and chemotherapy, they need a protocol of glutathione to pull all that stuff out. He's got 2 pages on glutathione, and this was before patches. He doesn't know I don't even know if he knows about the patches. I should talk to him about the patches. See what he has to say. He'd probably love it, because if our glutathione takes us up to 300 to 400% after putting a patch on, and he's talking about getting drips, putting drips in and actually putting glutathione up through the rectal area. But anyway, he really is a real strong believer of glutathione, and here we've got the best. So I know we're cut short for time. What time is it? Am I okay?
It's 7:05.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let me share with you super briefly. Thank you so much, Joyce. And just so you guys know, this is a huge topic. And I so appreciate you sharing your story and your journey. And the desire to help people is real. So let me just pull this in the driveway. Circle back around and share about the patches a little bit, because we talked about X39 and the copper peptide that it causes your body to make has anti-cancer properties to it. Am I supposed to say that? Probably not. Supposed to the GHK copper peptide. If you were to go to PubMed, and Dr. Harmon actually wrote a book, and I'm going to find that slide for you super quickly, and it highlight 2 different patches for you, and ways to get it. My computer's being very, very slow. So there's Lucy. Okay, our patches help the body find balance and help ward off the negative impact of toxins. And I know Annette talked about toxins affecting the cells negatively, and so did Joyce in her story, and the doctor that she was talking about, saying we've got to help the body get the toxins out. If you didn't know, chemo does there are heavy metals in chemo that kill cancer cells, but we also need to help the body get rid of those heavy metals. There is a known detoxifier, and that is called glutathione. So there's a patch that is named after what it tells your body to make. It does not have glutathione in it, but it tells your body to make it. So we elevate our own repair cells with X39 and activate, regenerate, again, anti-fast growing cells. And then glutathione tells your body to make, the glutathione patch tells your body to make glutathione, which has detoxing properties. It's very, very good for your skin. It also goes after things in your body that should not be there, like viruses, bacteria, and different things like that, molds. It helps your body detox from those things as well. Eon, if you guys, who knows that stress causes inflammation, and inflammation is like the beginning of dis-ease. So if we can dial down inflammation, it helps our bodies at the cellular level, because that's a precursor to disease. It also helps balance our hormones, because when your body is in fight or flight, your body does not heal. So when you can dial down stress and inflammation, the negative effects of stress and inflammation, that puts your body in a state where your body is in rest and digest, healing, sleep, balancing your hormones, all of those wonderful things. And that's why the Eon patch, we call it the dynamic duo with the X39. That is amazing. Carnosine is a major antioxidant, super helpful for the brain, super helpful for the heart, and other muscles. But it is also an antioxidant. Antioxidants go in and attach and neutralize the effects of free radicals that cause that oxidative stress that Joyce was talking about. Remember the banana and the bruise on the banana and the dark spots on the banana? That is oxidative stress showing on the banana. Don't be a bruised banana. Get your antioxidants. So I have so much more information to share with you, but we have one more patch I wanted to share with you, and that is the Alavita patch. Dr. Harmon has a book called Reversing the Aging Effects with Epitalin or something like that. And epitalin is the chemical name of what the Alavita patch tells your body to make. It's a synthetic. Epitalin is synthetic. Your Alavita tells your body to make epithalamine. And epitalin was studied for almost 50 years as well. And this tells your body to get sleep. It reverses oxidative stress on your cells. And it also lengthens your telomeres. And Annette probably can correct me if I'm wrong, but if your telomeres, it's my understanding that cancer cells in the DNA, there's something wonky with the telomeres where they grow too long, where your body doesn't naturally tell it to stop or tell it to die, because the telomeres don't die. But telomerase, the Alavita patch tells your body to make telomerase, and telomerase lengthens your telomeres for the ones that are shortening, and it tells your telomeres to be the correct length. So the ones that are too long, it actually tells it to shorten. So many good things with these patches. They are an amazing tool and in somebody's toolbox. And I appreciate you guys for hanging in with me. I'm sorry we're a little later than we usually are, but I appreciate that. And next week, we have a couple more people, stories, sharing what their journeys were. And I just appreciate you guys for being here. Share this information. I will post this on our YouTube link, but you need to have the link to get it. So thank you so much for hanging in with us. See you next week.
Well, and